Hello reception, Mr Gumpy here. I'm going to tell you all about the Week 4 book focus. This is a story about me, Mr Gumpy, going on an outing. Mr Gumpy's outing, and there's the book cover. The story is by an author called John Birmingham. You will find a link to the story on the overview, which is on our webpage. There's the link to the story, and you can find out all about what kind of things the teachers want you to do this week. So we want you to watch the video of Mr Gumpy's outing and talk about what happens in the story. Which animals wanted to get on the boat? I wonder if this animal might have wanted to get on the boat. Think about that in a minute and see what you might write if you were writing about that animal getting on the boat. Can you retell the story to a talk partner? Think about how many animals were on the boat at the end. What do I, Mr Gumpy, say to some of the animals, and what are my reasons for saying them? So, for example, a dog wanted to get on the boat, and I said, as long as you don't chase the cats, that's fine. Then I want you to think about what happens when you're writing the story, thinking about the things that you need for your sentences. So you need to have capital letters, you need your finger spaces, and you need your full stops. Don't forget, you're thinking about how you're forming your letters as well when you're doing your writing. So, pretend that you are Mr Gumpy, that's me, and I want you to think about what happened on your boat trip. So you can think about some different animals that you might want to put on your boat. I want you to write the story as if you are me. So, for example, you could say, I am Mr Gumpy and my house is by the river. Can you see how we've got a capital letter for my name, Mr Gumpy? Don't forget we need to use capital letters for our names and at the start of the sentence. So I've got the letter I there, which always is a capital when we're writing it, but this one actually has to be at the start of the sentence as well. Don't forget about setting your letters correctly on the line using your descenders and your ascenders and making sure you're spelling your tricky words right by now. You should be learning lots of those. Don't forget, when you finish your sentence, you need a full stop. So, when you've written your story, please remember to upload it onto Tapestry and then we can have a little look at it and read it. And I'd love to find out all about my new adventures that you're writing about. Take a look at the different animals that you're writing about in the story and don't forget to think about the noises that the animals make. So, for example, my friend Pig here, if he was coming on the boat, it might say, the pig snorted or the pig oinked. You can think of maybe some snuffled, maybe. Think of some describing words about what noises the different animals make to see if you can come up with some really creative ones. Right, this also links in quite well with the reading of Mr Gumpy's outing, and you can have a look at the different cards that are on the resources folder and you can maybe print those out and put them in the right order that you're telling the story in. So the original story that we spoke about just now, think about putting those in the right order and then you can talk about that with your talk partner. Right, I think it's time that I go now. I'm going to see if Mrs Paw's ready to come back and talk to you about the rest of your learning. But I look forward to reading those stories and seeing what new adventures I'm going to go on. So please make sure you upload those to Tapestry. I'll speak to you a bit later on. Bye. Thank you, Mr Gumpy. Bye. Right, I'm going to tell you about the rest of the learning. So also in literacy, we're going to look at the SuperCat PowerPoint, which is in the resources folder. And you can look at that to learn about crossing the road safely. It's very, very important that you do understand how you need to cross the road. And obviously, some of those things you need to talk about with your adult. So make sure that you have a discussion about that, what you know about crossing the road, and making sure that you are following all of the instructions to stop, look, and listen. There is a sequencing activity to do, which is also in the folder, and you can cut the pictures out and you can write the captions underneath. So we'd like to see those on Tapestry if you can, that'd be really good. In phonics, I know some of you have been enjoying Mr. Thorne's phonics that Mrs. Thompson put on the video last week. I hope that this week you can look at it and learn about those trigraphs, and then you can have a little look at some of the words that they might be in. So we've got the word here, sound it out with me, pressing the sound buttons. B, oi, ul, boil. B, oi, ul, boil. Like I'm waiting for the kettle to boil. Now we've got one using the ear sound. We've got g, ear. So we've only got two phonemes in this word, g, ear, g, ear. Okay, so we're looking at this in the sentence that might be, I changed gear on my bike. I changed gear on my bike. G, ear, gear. And then the last one with the air trigraph, we've got the digraph ch, and then we've got the trigraph air, ch, air, chair, ch, air, chair. So hopefully you'll be able to put some of those into some sentences using your segmenting and your sounding out. So in maths, Miss Wynne has asked that you start to think about collecting data and making a graph. Now, collecting data is where you collect information. So what she wants you to do is to find out what your favourite animal is and what the people in your household's favourite animals are. And maybe you could even ask some of your friends if you're having a chat with them on FaceTime or phoning them. And here is an example of the type of graph that she would like you to make. So there's all the pictures of the different animals, and you can decide which one is your favourite from the animals at the bottom of the graph. So if, for example, your favourite was a cat, you go along to the cat's picture and then you would go up one because you are one person and that's your favourite one. So you colour that block in and you make sure that the next time if somebody else chooses cat, you go up to the next space and you colour that in. If somebody else chooses a different animal, a rabbit for example, then you'd go along to the rabbit and then you'd colour that first space in there and so on. I've got an example of one that has been done already. So you can have a little look there and see which one do you think is the most popular animal? Which was everyone's favourite? Was it this little chick here with one bar coloured in? Or is it the budgerigar with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars coloured in? I'm going to leave you to think about that and see if you can work that out yourselves. Right, we've got lots of activities for your fine and gross motor skills. So we've got some pencil activities where you follow the lines, trying to find out how to get to Mr. Gumpy or the other animals or objects from the story. And there are also some templates for you to cut out and make your own Mr. Gumpy and animals puppets. And then maybe you could act out the story. This one is online, so you can think about where you want to place your animals. I had a good play with this yesterday. So you might want to move your cat. You might not want him sitting on the end of the boat. My rabbit decided to sit on Pig's back, but you could have him sitting on Mr. Gumpy's head, or maybe on the horns of the goat. That might be a bit painful. Right, for science, for understanding of the world, we're thinking about transport, which is part of our topic for this half term, and we're asking that you make some ramps. And if you've got some toy cars or some trains or some kind of vehicles that you can, or even if you haven't got cars, you could use some marbles or some small balls or something to roll them down. But if you've got cars, it'll make it even better. Right, so here are some examples of some ramps that you could make if you haven't got tracks or anything that you can use yourself. Maybe if you've got some Hot Wheels tracks, you could use those, but otherwise you could use the inner cardboard tube. Get someone to help you cut it in half. If you want to colour it, paint it and make it look like a road, that would be perfect. Otherwise, just prop it up against a chair or on some books or something so that you can keep that ramp at a nice angle for you to roll your cars or whatever down. You've got some ramps there made for some cardboard. If you want to stick those together, this one is from a cardboard box, I think, where you've got all the cars lined up at the top, ready to roll down. If you roll your car down, I'd like you to see if you can measure which car goes the furthest. So if you've got a red car, you might want to see, mark it at the end, roll it out onto some paper at the bottom and mark where your red car stops rolling. If you've got a blue car, roll that one down, see where that one finishes, which car goes the furthest, which one doesn't go quite so far. Maybe have a little race if you've made 2 ramps and you've got more cars with your friends or family, and see if you can roll those down the ramps. There is a link on the overview for you to have a little look and see how to make those ramps. And there's also another activity on Understanding the World, which you can make a model car racer from using a balloon and some other junk modelling. So you can see that video, and then you can maybe, if you've got enough junk, you can make 2 models and have a little race with somebody in your family. I'm sure it'll be lots and lots of fun. I hope you enjoy all of that learning. So this story is called All Afloat on Noah's Boat by Tony Mitton and Guy Parker Rees. Bang, bang, tap, tap, chip, chip, chip. Noah built a house in the shape of a ship. He built it wide and he built it tall. He built it for creatures great and small. When the rain came down, Noah clanged his bell, crying, "All aboard the Ark Hotel! The ground's getting wet, it'll soon be mud. Come and keep safe from the rising flood." So along came the creatures, all in pairs, flying through the windows, stepping up the stairs, filling up the ark with a racket and a row. There were snakes in the stern and bears in the bow. The rain rattled down on the great big boat till the water rose and made it float. All they could see was flood and sky, but aboard Noah's Ark they were safe and dry. Well, the days went by and the weeks went past, and it seemed that the flood would last and last. All those creatures packed so tight got bored and snappy till they felt like a fight. The camels got the hump and the snakes got the wriggles. The hyped up hyenas both got the giggles. The lion and the leopards turned mean and catty. And boy, those rodents sure were ratty. There were animal tantrums and insect tiffs, and the birds nearly came to feathery biffs. So Noah stood up, saying, "Hush and hark! Any more fuss and you're off my ark." The rain stopped falling, but the flood's not done. So while we're here, let's have some fun. We'll all get ready for a talent show. You can all do something. Isn't that so? Clever old Noah, that did the trick. There were no more quarrels or fights to pick. When at last it was time to begin the show, old Noah said, "Well, are you ready?" "Go!" So the animals came on 2 by 2 to show the things that they could do. The frogs sprang on, doing hyper hops. They flipped all over the tabletops. The toucans played a rhythmic peck with tapping beaks upon the deck. The elephants dipped their trunks in the sea and blew high fountains. Ready? Whee! But nobody heard the caterpillars croon, "We're wrapping ourselves in a tight cocoon." The snakes both tied themselves in knots. The leopards wiggled all their spots. Oh, what a rumpus, oh, what a row. That talent show got busy now. But the poor little caterpillars lay quite still, all wrapped up on the windowsill. The crocodiles balanced on the tips of their tails. The monkeys screeched out mega whales. The talent show was such a ball, there's not the space to tell it all. And the caterpillars thought, "They're all so good, we'd both join in if we only could." You see them at the bottom? But when the show was nearly through, Noah whispered, "One more act to do." Each caterpillar's tight cocoon looked like it might crack open soon. There they are at the bottom. There we go. Then out they burst. Surprise, surprise! They both turned into butterflies. They spread their brilliant wings out wide, and every single creature sighed. Oh, that's so lovely. "They're beautiful," said Noah. "Oh my, they've opened up their wings to fly." But look, out there the water's gone. That means there's land to live upon. Let's see what's up here. What's happened in the sky? The butterflies can end our show. Let's wave goodbye and watch them go. Then the creatures came out 2 by 2 on a world that waited bright and new. I hope you enjoyed that story. I hope you do lots of lovely learning this week, and I hope you've enjoyed Mr. Gumpy's visit as well. And we look forward to seeing everything that you upload onto Tapestry. It'll be really interesting for us to see that, and we look forward to seeing yours soon. So all stay safe and sound and have a lovely weekend. See you soon. Bye.